Hello to our TOMEY followers. Welcome today. We have a great interview partner today, something to talk about DICOM. And our guest in our house today is Markus Sabin from the company SOFTGATE. And I would like to ask you, Markus, would you introduce yourself to our followers?
Of course, Katrin. Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Markus Sabin. I have a degree in computer science. I started in medical software industry in 2000. And since then, I had a more and more stronger focus on healthcare communication standards. In 2014, I joined SOFTGATE, a supplier for the healthcare devices industry. And I'm consulting companies and I'm managing products and projects in the area of healthcare communication standards.
Okay, so healthcare communication standards. Can you shortly explain DICOM and its function and why it is so important?
Yeah, well, healthcare communication standards in general are gaining more and more importance just because, well, everyone knows you can have your photos from your vacation everywhere. On your smartphone, you can share it with your friends and everything else. So why wouldn't you want to do this with medical images when you are treating a patient?
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's why many users, I'm talking about doctors and healthcare professionals, are expecting to have the entire patient data that is available for that patient, regardless where it was taken, in their own hospital or somewhere else, or maybe the patient took it by himself.
Okay.
They want to have it in one big view, which is available everywhere.
Okay, great. So what kind of problems does DICOM solve then?
Well, to have that, you need to have consistent information about to where the data belongs. Well, very obviously, you want to know to which patient the data belongs, but also below this patient layer, there are the case, the order, the team in the healthcare environment who is treating the patient, who may access the data, and so on and so on. So many aspects are mattering a lot to have this data assigned properly, and that's what DICOM takes care of.
Okay.
So it's not only about encoding the images in such a way that they are understood by other applications, it's also the imaging workflow itself.
Okay, so you talk about workflow. How does the digital acquisition workflow work then?
Well, basically you want to obtain an order on your device. You need to have the planning and the scheduling data, which patient is going to come when, in which context of which examination, and which doctor ordered the exam. It's
called work list, I think.
That's the modality work list. Yeah. So
okay.
The device is going to query for a modality work list to obtain the order data, including the patient information. So this does not have to be typed. And so this rules out mistypings by the operator. And once the images are taken, they are shared with a system which is called PACS, Picture Archiving and Communication System.
Okay. Right.
This is the centralized data storage where all equipment contributes to the electronic medical record of the patient.
Okay.
So that's the core workflow. There is a little bit around that,
yes,
but that's what really matters.
Okay, perfect. So how much effort does it take to put a DICOM interface into the operation?
Well, in terms of development, a lot of effort, but I think you're asking what it takes your partners to connect them locally at a hospital site, and it needs some information in advance. Which are the DICOM parameters of my communication partner?
Okay.
For each communication partner, the work list provider and the PACS, you need 3 parameters. We will see this in another session.
Okay. Later on.
Yes. But once you entered them correctly, DICOM is pretty much plug and play in practice.
Oh,
and
that's
we
very
figured
nice.
this also out while we were testing the DICOM interface for CASIA.
Okay.
Even in ophthalmology, this is really something that works out of the box.
All right, that's good to know.
Yes.
So is it also possible to find out if a DICOM interface is going to work in a particular environment, for example, in advance? So can we check in clinics beforehand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know if you are compatible with the worklist provider, and you want to know if the packs will be able to handle the images that the CASIA or the devices export.
Okay.
In theory and in practice, this is done by comparing DICOM conformance statements. This is a mandatory document that everyone who wants to claim conformance to the DICOM standard has to provide.
Okay.
There you describe your capabilities. Okay. So we have one for the devices that you are selling, and also the packs and worklist manufacturers have such a conformance statement. But in practice, I would like to say that the features that we are using in the TOMEY devices are so well established that I don't think that you really need to read that.
Okay.
Modality worklist is supported everywhere. There's nothing special about it.
Good.
And the type of image that we are creating is the so-called secondary capture, and every PACS is capable of handling that.
Perfect. I think this is very good for our users to know about that. What happens if, for example, DICOM gets a new software release? Is it a problem, or you know, like a new DICOM standard is released?
Well, the DICOM standard is maintained very, very frequently, and it's still very actively worked on.
Yeah.
Several releases of the DICOM standard are published every year.
Okay.
But there is one really, really great thing about DICOM that is also a difference to all other communication standards in healthcare. DICOM is always backward compatible. So this means what is working today is going to work tomorrow and in 10 years as well. Even when the standard is updated, it is always updated in a backward compatible way. And I know this from experience. I told you that I'm working in the industry since 2000. The software that we developed in 2000 is still working in 2021.
Perfect. Perfect. And now we finalized to integrate the DICOM worklist in our anterior segment OCT, the CASIA2, and also our combo unit, MR-6000. And I think this is a nice way to work with the DICOM communication. And I think this is a good turnkey for us, isn't it?
Yes, I would say so.
As you all know, TOMEY is a Japanese company, so our mother company, TOMEY Corporation Japan, is located in Japan. So Markus, how is your experience to work with TOMEY Corporation in Japan, and also how did you get to the point to integrate our systems?
Yeah, well, we have a turnkey ready solution for device manufacturers. It is called DICOM Connect. It is a software library that really makes it very, very easy in technical terms.
All right.
So it boils it down to more or less 5 function calls: obtain the worklist, create some images, send them to the packs, a little bit shebang around it. And but the major point is that DICOM Connect is a certified component which comes with all the regulatory documentation that is needed, because we know that software development for medical devices means at least 50% effort for not developing features, but for quality management and documentation. And this is part of the product, so that makes it really easy to integrate it into a medical device software.
Right. And I think you also visited Japan, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Give us a personal explanation or interpretation of your trip to Japan.
It was for sure the greatest experience in my career so far. The Japanese guys were absolutely awesome hosts.
Okay,
I really felt super, super welcome there. And we had a very, very fruitful discussion, especially on one day in the morning. We were just sitting with a lead developer, with a translator, a young woman who did an awesome job, but that would be another video.
Okay.
And the lead developer from TOMEY and me. And we were, well, the language barrier was present. The translator helped something, but she didn't know about the technical matters. So we were drawing on the whiteboard and trying to translate between each other, but there was really this strong will to find a point of how we are going to work together on this project and what we want to accomplish. And before I went to Japan, someone told me you won't achieve anything with the Japanese team unless you become part of their team.
Okay.
And I think, well, Japanese and Germans are very similar in some way. You won't make friends in a few days, but I
No.
think we had a very good start.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well, I mean, you're in the meantime part of our TOMEY family. We
I'm
can
pleased
say, yeah, it's fantastic to work with you. Thank you so much for your interesting information and for telling our users about your job and about your experience, also with Japan, and giving us an impression about it. I think this is very nice to know. And yeah, I hope we are looking very much forward to the future cooperation together with you.
So do I.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much for your visit.
Thanks you for having me.
Perfect.